Hello, and welcome to my deck on this beautiful day. I hope that when you see this, it's also a beautiful day for you outside. So we're just going to start in a seated position today. Whatever that means to you. If you want to sit in a cross-legged pose, I like my legs a little bit uncrossed, or if you want to sit up on a block or blanket or up on your shins, just find wherever is going to be comfortable for you. And then bring one hand to the heart and one hand to the belly. Gently draw the shoulder blades together at the back and allow the eyes to close. Begin to notice any sensations in the body. And then begin to notice the breath as it comes in and out of the nose. Maybe you've started to notice that the breath is slowing down. Maybe you notice that you're holding a lot of tension or sensation in the body. So I invite you to allow the space between the eyebrows to relax and the jaw to relax. Maybe the shoulders come slightly down away from the ears. And the belly comes out in its full expression, maybe even coming over the elastic waist of your pants. And without forcing or really shaping the breath, notice where it goes as you inhale. Maybe it fills up that heart space. Maybe it bypasses the heart space. Maybe it fully fills up the belly. Maybe it's really gentle in the belly. And gently let it back out through the nose, noticing if there's any part of the body that deflates or that the breath bypasses. If you notice that you're holding any tension or sensation, allow the breath this time to go toward that spot. Allow the breath to fully fill up that space, whether it's the heart center or the belly or the hips or the shoulders. And use that breath to break up any tension, break up the sensation, and then let it go as you exhale through the nose. Take one more of those deep breaths, inhaling the breath wherever it needs to go. And then exhaling it gently back out. And allow the palms to come down to the lap or on the thighs. And we'll spend a few more breaths here, just letting the breath come in the nose and out the nose naturally. And then keep the eyes closed for the next movement here. And just make sure that the chin is parallel to the floor. And then draw the fingertips out beside you so that the fingertips are tented on the mat. Press into those fingertips, draw the shoulders down away from the ears and the shoulder blades together and behind you. So maybe you notice a slight opening across the chest, or some sensation in the shoulders or in the upper back. Really press into those fingertips, allowing the chest to open and keeping the breath natural. One more press into the fingertips, helping you to sit up a little bit taller. And then slowly release the fingertips from the mat. Palms can find the ground beside you, and gently flutter the eyes open. And then on your next inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Gaze can follow. And exhale, sweep the arms down by the side. 2 more times. Inhale the arms up and overhead. Gaze follows, spine stays long. Maybe the palms or fingertips touch overhead. And then exhale it down by the side. And last one, inhale the arms up and overhead. And exhale it down by the side. One more time, inhale the arms up overhead. This time, as you exhale, twist over to the left. Really twisting through that belly and using the left hand as a little kickstand behind you. Gaze wherever it's comfortable. Inhale the arms up and overhead and twist over toward the right. This doesn't have to be your fullest expression of a twist quite yet, since we're so early in the practice. Just notice. Inhale the arms up and overhead, really reaching out of the spine, out of the crown of the head as the chin stays parallel to the floor. And exhale the left arm down, right arm up and overhead. Gaze under the arm or down toward the ground. The left elbow can bend a little bit or it can stay straight. Really, the goal here is to feel that stretch in the right side body. And then inhale both arms back up and overhead. And exhale that right arm down, left arm up and overhead. Finding that stretch. And then inhale, both arms up overhead. If your legs are crossed, switch the cross of the legs here. If you're up on your shins, maybe consider coming down into a cross-legged position, or you can stay right on your shins, that's fine. We're just gonna take a forward fold here. So keeping that spine nice and straight, find the fingertips out in front of you and press into the fingertips to stay rooted through the sits bones. And then if it's calling to you, you can stretch the arms out just a little bit more as we gently get into the hips. The head can hang heavy here as the spine stays nice and straight. You can gently walk the hands back in. Rise all the way up, strong, straight spine. And then come into a tabletop position, however you would like to get there. Maybe shake the hips out a little bit. Just find your tabletop. So knees are under hips, wrists are under the shoulders. And let's take 3 cat-cows together. Inhale to drop the belly, gaze up. And exhale to round the spine, drop the crown of the head, moving really slowly here. Really feel that upper spine dome. And then inhale to cow, press into the hands. Exhale to cat, staying domed through the upper back, feeling the sensation. And one more time, inhale to cow. And exhale to cat. And then bring it back to a neutral spine here. So we're gonna take some rolls here. So you'll bring the body forward and then over to the right wrist, hip back toward the right heel, left heel, and then bringing it back forward toward the left wrist. So finding these big circles here with the body. Spine can stay neutral. As we once again gently get into the hips. And the next time your hips come back to your heels, stay here for a breath, extending the arms out in front of you in this modified child's pose. So the toes are apart, heels are apart. And then draw the palms back in to rise back up into your tabletop pose. We'll move to the other side. So rotate up toward the left wrist, right wrist, left wrist, back toward the left heel, right heel, and up and around. Moving nice and slow, feeling the sensation in the body. If there's ever a pose that feels really good in one spot, feel free to stay there. Really honor your body feeling excellent. We don't often take time to appreciate when our body feels really good, only to notice when we have aches and pains. The next time the hips come back to the heels, extend the arms, once again finding this modified child's pose. And then rise back up over the next breath into your tabletop pose. From here, extend the left leg long behind you. Flex through the toes here and press into the palms to stay lifted up out of the shoulders. Then begin to bend the knee, opening the hip up, bringing the knee toward the outer edge of the left elbow and extend it back behind you. Knee toward the left elbow. We're staying on this left side. And we'll take 3 more, moving nice and slow. And last one, hug it in toward the elbow. And then release it back out behind you. And draw the knee back down. Walk the hands out. We're going to go into a plank pose. So tuck the toes under, extend the legs behind you. And really find that nice, long, straight, rectangular pose. You can always come down to your forearms here if you would like. We're going to take that same move on the left side, but in plank pose. So bend the knee, bring it to the outer left wrist, and back. And 4 more toward the elbow, and back. So we're getting into the abs if you couldn't feel it already. And last one. Extend it back. Drop the knees down, untuck the toes, and walk the hands back into tabletop pose. Still staying with that left leg, extend it behind you, and then really round it in toward the nose or toward the forehead. Press into the palms. Round, round, round. And then extend that leg behind you, flex through the toes. And we'll take some taps here. So tap the toes down and then up so that the leg comes straight out of your hip. And down and up down, tap the toes, up, down, and up, down, and up. 5 more, down, and up. Get strong through the glutes. Down, and up. 3 more. And extend that leg long behind you. Holding it here, you can feel free to extend that right arm long for a static bird dog. Find your balance. We'll be here for 5 full rounds of breath. And then release the right palm back to the mat, left leg back to the mat. Just draw the hips from side to side. And then last move on that left side, extend the left leg behind you, tuck the toes on the mat, and press the heel down toward the ground or toward the back wall behind you, just to get a nice stretch in the back leg. Press into the palms for a little bit more, press into the toes. And then you can release it, tabletop once again. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So you'll bend through, extend that right leg long behind you, and then bend through the knee to bring it to the upper outer right elbow and extend. And bring it in and extend. 3 more. Last one, bring it into the elbow and extend it back. Release the leg back down into tabletop. You can walk the hands out, tuck the toes, finding yourself in your plank pose. We'll take that same move in plank. You can come down to forearms, or you can stay in tabletop too. No shame in that. So bend the knee toward the elbow and back. Toward the elbow and back. 3 more. Last one. And lower the knees down, walk the hands back in, tabletop pose. Once again, send that right leg out long behind you, and then bring it in toward the nose, toward the forehead, really round in, press into the palms, round, round, round. And then extend it long behind you, flex through the toes, left arm can come up, static bird dog. And then release that left arm down. We'll do our taps here. So lower the toes down and up so that the leg is coming straight out of the hip. Lower it down, tap and up. Tap and up. Use the glutes. Tap and up. Tap and up. 5 more. Tap and up. Tap and up. Tap and up. Tap and up. Last one, tap and up. Nice. Lower the toes down to the mat, tuck the toes on the mat, and then send that heel down toward the mat, getting that nice stretch in the right leg this time. Really feel that stretch. And then release the knee back to the mat. Rock the hips just a little bit from side to side. And this time we're going to take a traditional child's pose, toes together, knees nice and wide, arms out long in front of you. Allow the chest, allow the belly to relax toward the mat. You can even release the arms a little bit, making this a slightly less active child's pose. And then find those active arms again, bringing the forearms off the mat. And gently walk the hands over toward the left.
Feel the stretch in that right side body. You can even put the right hand on top of the left, and then see if you can get the shoulders parallel to the ground. And then walk the hands back to center. One breath here in this active child's pose. Hips are toward the heels. And then walk the hands over toward the right as you find that stretch in the left side body. Maybe putting the hand on top of the left hand on top of the right. And then come back through center. One more breath here. And then press into the palms. Tuck the toes. Find your first downward facing dog. So feel free to pedal it out here. Repose your dog in any way that you need to. Maybe even just take a couple of movements here. And eventually you'll find yourself in stillness. And then drop the heels over to the right, trying to keep the shoulders parallel to the mat here. So the top of the body is not changing, but the heels are dropped over toward the right. Then press into the palms, find that straight back. And then come back to center and drop the heels over to the left. Once again, getting into that side body a little bit. Come back to center. And then you can walk your left hand slightly toward the center, maybe an inch toward the center. As you reach under with your right hand, finding your calf or your thigh, maybe your foot, if you're more flexible than I am. Really twisting under your dog. And then release that right arm. Maybe bringing that hand slightly towards center as you reach under the body with your left hand, finding the thigh or the calf or your foot. Twist the belly under the body. And then release that left hand back to the ground, reposing your dog. And then float it forward into plank pose. And back into downward facing dog. We'll do that 2 more times. Float it forward into plank. And back into dog. 1 more time, forward into plank. And back into dog. And from here, inhale the right leg back up behind you as you step the right foot to the outside of the right hand. And then step the left foot to the outside of the left hand, finding a malasana here for just a breath. And send the arms, out long in front of you and rise all the way up. Nice. So you can release the arms down by the side. And then take the feet mats width distance apart. So you're at the top of your mat. Take your feet a little wider than hips width distance is probably mats width distance. And then bend the knees deeply, sweep the arms forward and up as you find a wide-legged chair pose. And then press into the feet to rise all the way up. And then bring the right foot over toward the left, sink down into chair pose. Rise up, bring the right foot back out, wide-legged chair pose, sit nice and deep. Release it back up, bring the left foot toward the right, chair pose. Rising back up, separating the feet, wide-legged chair pose. Rise back up, right comes toward the left, chair pose. Rise back up, separate the feet, wide-legged chair pose. We'll do this just a couple more times. Rise up, left toward the right, chair pose. Rise it back up. Separate the feet. Chair pose. Rise back up. Right toward the left. Chair pose. Rise back up. Separate the feet. Wide-legged chair pose. Last one, rise up. Left toward right. Chair pose. Rise back up. Wide legs. Sink down into your wide-legged chair pose. Hands can come to heart center if your arms are getting a little bit tired, or you can keep them up. Let's just take 10 pulses here. Lower and rise, lower and rise, lower and rise. 5 more. 5, 4, use the glutes. 3, 2, and 1. Rise all the way up. Beautiful job. Bring the hands through heart center as you roll over the hips. Bring the hands down to the mat and step it back into plank pose. Hold here for 5 full breaths. And then toes together, knees nice and wide, child's pose. Press into the hands, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Heels reach toward the mat, even if they don't touch. And then take tiny steps toward the top of the mat, finding yourself in a forward fold. You can do a ragdoll here, grabbing opposite elbows, or just letting the hands hang, or you can find some stillness. And then inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Sweep the arms out, up, and overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale the arms out and up. And exhale to hinge at the hips as you fold forward. Step back with the left foot, back with the right foot, and hold here for 5 full rounds of breath. Get nice and strong. Press into the fingertips. And then press it back into downward facing dog. Take tiny steps toward the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. And then from here, just round through the spine to rise all the way up. Head reaches up last. Once you get to the top, really hug those shoulders up to the ears and then roll them back down the chest, down the back. Nice and open chest here. Shoulders are relaxed. Then sweep the arms out and up. And exhale to fold forward. Plant the hands and step the left foot back once again. And maybe if you're like me, you need to scoot that right foot forward. Goal here is to have the right foot in between the hands. So find that low lunge first. And then begin to rise as slowly as you can into your crescent lunge. Arms up and overhead, right knee is really bent here. Exhale to reframe that foot. Plant the left palm as the right arm floats up to the sky. Exhale to reframe that front foot. Tap that back knee down to the mat, left knee down to the mat. Untuck the toes, pad the knee whenever necessary. And then rise up. Exhale to reframe. Tuck the toes, release that back knee. Once again, rising up into your crescent lunge. From here, hover that back knee above the mat. And straighten. Reframe the front foot. One more gentle twist by planting the left palm, right arm up to the sky. And then reframe the front foot. Step the left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Around, all the way up. Limbs hang heavy, head rises last. And then once again, really hug those shoulders up to the ears and roll them back down, opening the chest and heart, releasing tension in the shoulders. Then inhale the arms out and up, and exhale to fold forward. This time, step the right foot to the back of the mat, and then readjust that left foot. Maybe you need a little help there. Finding that low lunge. So hands are framing that left foot. Make any adjustments that you need. And then slowly, slowly rise up. Crescent lunge. Feel the opening in that right hip flexor. And then reframe that foot. Plant the right palm. Left arm floats up to the sky. Keep the right leg straight and strong behind you. Reframe that front foot. Tap the right knee down. Untuck the toes if it feels okay. Pad the knee if you need to. And rise up. Exhale to reframe the left foot. Tuck the toes behind. And rise up once again into your crescent lunge. From here, tap the knee down toward the mat and back up. Reframe that front foot, plant the right palm, left arm floats up to the sky. Reframe. This time, step the left foot back to meet the right, plank pose. One more breath here, get nice and strong. And then lower the knees down to the mat, toes together, knees wide, child's pose. Tent the left fingertips out in front of you. Begin to turn the body toward the left and sweep the right arm underneath the left for this thread the needle child's pose. Staying nice and open in those shoulders, nice and relaxed. We'll be here just a few more breaths. See if you can really settle in and release any tension. And then slowly unwind that right arm. Tent both all 10 fingertips. Find that strength in your upper back. And then begin to twist the body toward the right as you thread the left arm underneath the right for that thread the needle child's pose on the other side. Keep the right palm tented so that you're keeping this a nice active pose here, but also see if there's any place where you can settle in. And then slowly unwind that left arm, sending it out long in front of you, palms down on the mat. And then press into the palms, tuck the toes, downward facing dog. Inhale the right leg back up behind you, bend the knee to open the hip. This always allows me to get my left heel closer to the mat. See if it does the same for you. And then release that right leg back out behind you. Hug the knee in toward the nose or toward the forehead. Hold here, round, round, round. And then step the right leg through. Plant the left palm, right arm floats up to the sky, gentle twist. Exhale to release. Press into the feet, rise all the way up into your high lunge. Exhale to reframe the front foot. Tap the left knee down to the mat, untuck the toes, and rise up. Hold here. And exhale to reframe. Tuck the back toes. Once again, rise up into that crescent lunge. Hover the knee down on the mat and rise. And we'll do that 4 more times. Hover the left knee and straighten, hover it and straighten, hover and straighten. Last one, hover and straighten. Nice job. Really straighten that left leg. And then fold forward, plant the left palm, right arm up to the sky. And exhale to release. Step the right foot back, holding that plank pose for 5 breaths. And press it back into downward facing dog. Inhale the left leg back up behind you. Bend through the knee, opening up the hip. And then extend through the left leg. Bend through the knee, round it in toward the nose or toward the forehead. And then step it all the way through, in between the hands. Plant the right palm, left arm floats up to the sky. Exhale to release. Slowly rise into crescent lunge. And slowly release. Tap the right knee back on the mat, untuck the toes, rise up. Reframe that front foot, tuck the right toes, and rise up into your crescent lunge. From here, we'll do those 5 taps with the knee or hovers. So hover the right and extend. Hover and straighten. 3, 2, and 1. Rise up. Frame that front foot, plant the right palm, left arm up to the sky. And exhale to reframe. Step the right foot forward to meet the left. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Sweep the arms out to the side, up and overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. Inhale the arms out and up. Exhale to fold forward. Plant the hands. 5 more breaths in plank pose. And then press it back into downward facing dog. Just checking the time here. Feel that down dog. See if you can press the heels down toward the mat. And then inhale the left leg back up behind you. Exhale to step it to the outside of the left hand. And then bring the right foot to the outside of the right hand. You can find Ardha Malasana first. Toes are slightly out, heels are slightly in. You can stay right here, or you can sink it down, adjusting your feet as necessary. Bring the hands to heart center. So if you would like to sit on a block here, that's always an option. And then close the eyes. Wherever you are, use those elbows to press the knees and the thighs out. Stay nice and strong in the spine. Crown of the head reaches toward the ceiling. Identify a place in your body that feels fabulous, that feels so good. Send your attention to that spot. Beautiful. One more breath. And then press into the feet. Rise all the way up. Use the strength in your legs. And then sweep the arms down by the side. Bring the toes back forward. And you can walk them in slightly so that they're hips width distance apart. I'm going to show you from the side here. Then sink down, arms rise up, chair pose. From here, I'll show you from this side. From here, you're going to really root down into that left foot as the right foot rises 90 degrees. Hold here, find your balance. We'll do this first round really slow. So feel that sensation. Rooting down into the left foot. Then sweep the right leg out to the side and send it behind you for a curtsy. Arms can come with you as if you're grabbing that beautiful dress that you're wearing, curtsying out to the side. And then sweep the arms up as that right leg comes out to the side in 90 degrees, rooting down into the standing foot, and then sweeping it forward 90 degrees and sink back into your chair pose. So let's stay on the same side. We'll do 4 more rounds. Rise up, press into that left foot, right foot rises 90 degrees. Open it out to the side, foot is flexed, and then sweep the arms out, sweep the foot behind, curtsy, see if you can get a little lower. And rising back up, arm sweeps out, up, leg sweeps out to the side, bring it back forward, sink down into chair pose. Rise up as that right foot comes with you, find your balance. Sweep it out to the side. Show that beautiful dress, sink nice and low. Sweep it back out to the side, out to the front, sink back into chair. Let's do 2 more. Rise up, right foot 90 degrees. Open it out to the side, curtsy behind you. And then arms rise, leg sweeps out, leg back forward, sink back into chair. 1 more time, rise up, leg comes with you. Open it out to the side, sweep it out into your curtsy. Beautiful. Arms rise, leg rises, back to the front. Let's sit down in chair, 2 breaths here. And then forward fold, beautiful job. Really let it go. You can even take the feet a little bit wider, make it a little easier on the back. Let the arms hang heavy. And then slowly roll through the back, rising all the way up. Head rises last. And bring the feet back in, hips width distance apart. And then let's sink back down into the chair pose. We're going to move to the other side, doing 5 rounds there. So this time you'll root down into the right foot as the left foot rises up 90 degrees. Open it out to the side, embrace the wobble, and then open it up, curtsy. Beautiful, sweep it back out to the side. This side is much more difficult for me. Sweep it back to the front, and then lower it down into chair pose. Rise back up, bringing that foot with you. Open it out to the side. Sweep it behind, curtsy. And then open the leg back up, arms rise overhead. Leg out in front at 90 degrees. Sink back into chair pose. 3 more. Rise up. Open the leg. Sweep it behind for curtsy, get nice and low. And then arms up, leg opens. Sweep it back to the front and back down. Rise up, leg comes with you. Open it up. Sweep it behind. Bring it back out to the side. Out to the front. Chair pose, last one. Do this one at your own pace. And once you're in chair pose, spend 2 full breaths there. And then straighten the legs, fold forward, forward fold. You can even take your feet slightly wider. And then round through the spine, rising all the way up. Inhale the arms up and overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. Hinge at the hips to fold forward, stepping back into your plank pose here. 5 breaths. And then lower the knees down, toes together, knees nice and wide, child's pose. If you'd like to take another thread the needle child's pose, feel free to do that. Just listening to your body and staying any place that makes you feel great. And then press into the palms, tuck the toes, hips high to the sky, downward facing dog. Take tiny steps toward the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Sweep the arms out and up. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center as you sink down into chair pose. From here, keep that left leg bent as the right leg floats back to the back of the mat. Finding that high lunge, you can bring your arms up and overhead. And then from here, twist over toward that left leg, arms in a T. So really twist through the belly here. See if you can get your shoulders to face that side wall. Bend through the left leg. And then reverse your lunge here. Come back to your arms in a T, twist once again through the core, and then sweep the arms up and overhead. Reframe the front foot. Plant the right palm as you float the left arm up to the sky. Reframe the front foot. From here, tap the right knee down, untuck the toes, always padding if necessary. And then you can begin to walk your hands up to your left thigh. If it's available to you, bend through that right knee and twist open toward the left. So open toward your bent knee as you reach for that right foot. Maybe that right arm comes up ahead. And if you've grabbed for that foot, gently let it go. You can bring both hands back to your left thigh. Reframe the front foot, tuck the right toes, straighten the right leg, and step it back into downward facing dog. Take tiny steps toward the top of the mat. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale to fold forward. Sweep the arms out, up, and overhead. And exhale, hands through heart center. Bend the knees, chair pose. This time, root down into the left foot as you send the right foot, other way. Root down into the right foot as you send the left foot all the way to the back of the mat. Finding your high lunge here. And then frame that right foot, plant the left palm, right arm floats up to the sky. Reframe the right foot, rise back up into your high lunge and twist over toward the right. Twist through the core, reverse your lunge here. And then bring the arms back into a T. Sweep the arms forward. One more time. Open it up into a T. And then cartwheel the arms down. I think I added an extra twist there. It's all right. Lower the left knee down. Untuck the toes. You can walk your hands up to your right thigh here. And then if it's calling to you, bend that left leg. This side is really different for me. I'm gonna pad my knee here. Feel free to do the same. And then I can reach behind. Maybe my left arm comes up as my right arm reaches back. I'm twisting through the core. If you've grabbed for that foot, let it go. Bring both hands back to that right thigh. Then frame the front foot as you tuck the left toes, releasing the left knee up off the mat. One last time, step it back into downward facing dog. And then roll it forward into plank pose, 5 full rounds of breath. And then I lied, one more down dog. And then tiny steps toward the top of the mat. Round the spine to rise all the way up. Come to stand. Roll the shoulders back. And then take a little bit wider stance than hips width distance. You can put a slight bend in the knees just to really get a nice grounding support for you. And then let your arms go limp and just start twisting from side to side. The head can go with you, getting out any last bits of energy, any last creaks and cracks. If you're like me, I can hear it in my shoulders a little bit. A little detoxifying twist. And you can go a little bit faster if that feels okay. Really let your arms be free here. Let gravity kind of take them, let momentum take them from side to side. Maybe even close your eyes for a little bit of balance here. You can kind of see where your center of gravity is. Nice. Let's take 3 more rounds of breath here. And then slowly come back to center, let the momentum stop. Open the eyes if they were closed. Draw the shoulders all the way up to the ears, and then roll them back down. And draw the feet back into hips width distance. Send the arms up and overhead. One last chair pose. Use those glutes sink nice and deep. Open up through the chest. 5 rounds of breath. And then lower yourself all the way down to the mat. Bring the soles of the feet together. Sit up nice and tall. So if you need a little support under your knees, go for it. You can even roll your blanket, roll your mat for a little bit of support under there, if that feels good. And then heels as close to you or as far away as they feel good for you. You should be pretty open in the hips at this point. And then get nice and tall through the spine. We'll take 1 forward fold here, finding the forearms or the palms on the ground. Staying long through the neck, allowing the knees to be taken toward the mat by the gravity, by the openness of your body. And then you can let the head drop as you round through the spine, rising all the way back up. And then just find yourself on your back, knees bent toward the sky. Bring the heels in close enough to the body that you can almost touch them. And then press into the feet to rise up. Maybe arms come up and overhead too for a bridge pose here. And exhale to slowly lower down. Take 2 more of those. Inhale it up. And exhale to lower. Last one. And then draw the feet as wide as the mat here. You can sweep the arms out to a cactus or out to a T. And draw the shoulder blades gently under the body. And just rock the knees over toward the right. Gaze can go over toward the left. If you'd like a little bit more stretch here, you can put the right ankle on top of the left thigh for a little bit of weight. If you've hooked the foot, unhook it. Draw the knees back to center for a moment. Reposition the spine. And then draw the knees over toward the left. Gaze can go over toward the right. Again, if you want a little bit more stretch here, you can put the left ankle on top of the right thigh. But really allow yourself to release. These final spinal twists can be so nourishing. And then unhook the foot if you've unhooked it. Knees back to center. Readjust the spine and draw both knees into the chest, nice and wide. You can stay right here and stay here for at least a breath. And then if you'd like to, you can find a happy baby, or you can find any other pose that your body's calling for. Find something that, once again, just feels so good for your body. Yoga, even though it's tough and sometimes really tough, it should make us feel good. So find a pose that leaves you feeling great after this practice. And whenever you're ready, you can release that final pose, sending the heels toward the bottom of the mat and the arms nice and wide. Once again, gently drawing the shoulder blades under the body to shine the heart forward. Close the eyes. Allow the eyeballs to be heavy in the sockets. Allow the head to be fully supported by the ground below you. Unhinge the jaw. Let the belly be its full, free self. And allow the feet to splay out to either side. And then letting go of any sensation. Just allowing yourself to be here for the next couple of minutes. On the next inhale, notice your breath. Gently rock your head from side to side. Find some small movements throughout the body.
And when you're ready, roll over into fetal position. Use your arm as a pillow and take at least a full deep round of breath here. And whenever you're ready, we'll meet in a seated position. Bring your hands to heart center and shine your heart forward, nice and proud. Before we unpractice, identify one place in your body that feels great. And remember this feeling, share it with others, be proud of the work that you have done, be proud of your body, and notice when things are good. And with that, I invite you to take your yoga off the mat and out into the world. Namaste.